Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 104 of Talking Asperger's with Andrew. My name's Andrew Marsh, and I'm autistic. My representation of autism is Asperger's syndrome. Now, it can get awfully complicated when we even just talk about that because there's new definitions. Some people don't like them, some people prefer the old terminology. So I'm going to refer to what my condition is as Asperger's syndrome. Other people might call it high functioning autism, which is again an old terminology. The correct, well, according to the DSM manuals, the correct terminology is a level 1 autism spectrum disorder. I don't particularly like that, so I'm going to stick with Asperger syndrome. If I'm referring to autism in the broader sense, I'll just say autism. So we didn't have a session last month, because it was my 60th birthday. Fantastic. Yes, I know. I'm 60. How about that? And that was a great fun. My wife treated me to a fantastic night out that was just brilliant. And we went to see a show, and it was just wonderful. Really spot rotten. So here we are in April, and April is World Autism Awareness Month. And yesterday was World Autism Awareness Day. So I'm a day late, but we do our things on a Wednesday afternoon. So what does World Autism Acceptance Awareness Day mean? Well, it's kind of trying to put out to the wider society, the wider community, that there are people in your circles, in your employment, maybe even your friends, in your communities who have autism or Asperger's syndrome. And you might not know it, or you might know it. You might actually know that, oh, I noticed that person behaving a bit strangely around people. That is my biggest challenge. If you were to sum up in one word what Andrew Marsh's biggest challenge was, because he has an Asperger's syndrome, it's that word, people. But I could sit here and I could get quite wound up about people because, well, people are fickle. They're not consistent. And I don't just mean the same person being consistent. I mean all of them. Different people, different groups, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different education levels. They're all different. And they can be different on different days, just as we all can. We're a different person when we're talking to our parents than we are talking to our children. I'm sure you'd agree with that. We're a different person talking to our teachers than we were talking to our friends when we were at school. So you can definitely relate to that. And we might be different talking to our neighbors and people we meet in the supermarket than we are to our friends. We're different people in different circumstances, in different groups, in different social circumstances. And so that ability to be a chameleon and be all those different things is something that is difficult for people who have autism and Asperger's syndrome, because we're trying to make sense of a myriad, an absolute myriad of sensory information that is bombarding us all the time. And we can't necessarily fathom out what it means. We know how it makes us feel because we're getting it. We're getting the full hit of what is coming at us from all our senses. And it might be making us uncomfortable. It might be going, oh, that's too loud. Yeah, it's grating. It's horrible. Even simple things like, and you might get it, and this isn't necessarily an autism or an Asperger's thing. If you dropped a plate on your metal draining board, you would probably go, oh, that was harsh. Well, a lot of autistic people, people with Asperger's, are very sensitive to light and noise. I am. Noise gets me, even though I have a hearing impediment. I won't say I'm not deaf by any stretch of the imagination. That's the wrong terminology. I have a significant hearing loss at high frequency. So softly spoken women is very difficult for me to hear. So when I'm in places and I'm asking a woman something, I have to really pay attention, and actually helps if I'm looking at them, although I don't always necessarily realize that I'm using lip reading skills. I'm not a lip reader by any uh, definition of someone who's good at it, but it helps me understand the words that they're forming. So softly spoken is difficult for me. Bright lights can get a lot of people. My mum had epilepsy and she couldn't do bright lights, flashing lights. It would really, really bad for her. So what is what is this awareness week? Well, month. It's to make people aware that within their social groups, within the communities, within their workplace, there are people who are autistic. There are people who have Asperger's, and those people have certain challenges. And as I said, my challenge is people. But it's more than that. It's not just okay. We've got these people, autism awareness. It's great. That's fine. Let's pay attention for a month or at least one day, and for the rest of the year we won't do anything. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's trying to make communities, employers, communities, and people that you know understand that somewhere in their circle there's going to be someone they know or interact with or relate to who might be autistic, who might have Asperger's syndrome. And you might be standing there thinking, well, no, doesn't really affect me that much. But a wonderful question for you. Are you a business? Whether you're, I'm a retired geologist. I used to be a geologist. So, I would meet clients. I would meet directors of my company. I would meet directors of other stakeholders, be they local councils or local government or national government. So I would be relating to people from all walks of life. And the question I'm going to ask you is, well, if you think, well, it doesn't really affect me because I don't really know anyone that's got Asperger's, what if your next client was the person who has Asperger's, the director, the project manager for that bid that you want to put in to win £2.5 million worth of services or products or sales, and your client was the one who had Asperger's syndrome or autism? How are you going to relate to them? How are you going to communicate with them to get your message across so that they understand it and you understand what they're looking for? Because they will probably have quite a rigid set of requirements that they want people to comply with. And some of it will be the big things. Make sure they've covered this issue, that issue, but some of it will be the little things. How are they going to present the information? And the client will say, we want it presented in a certain way, which is usually, if that project manager, that director with Asperger's syndrome, is how they can receive and understand the information more clearly. Now, that might mean instead of sending a 30-page report, just boom, all text, like reading a novel, they might want it broken into sections with chapter headings, section headings, subsection headings, graphics, images, diagrams, graphs. We love graphs, spreadsheets. We absolutely love spreadsheets, and things that break up the intensity of woof, a 30-page or 50-page document. We will want to see it broken down because it's too much for us to handle getting a 30 or a 50-page document. It's all text. We would much rather have 5 pages of text broken down into sections and 3 figures, a pie chart, a histogram, a graph, a spreadsheet, an image, an annotated photograph, a drawing marked up. Because most of the people who are autistic and have Asperger's syndrome tend to be very visual. I'm a very visual person. I took that photograph behind me. That's of little Katrine. That's 25 years ago, and it's still beautiful. So I like imagery. I like to be able to see something that explains the section of work that I've just read. And being a retired geologist, I used to do a lot of reports, and I would put in photographs back in the day. This is going to age me. Back in the day when we would go to site with an SLR camera, single lens reflex, a camera with 35mm film in it. We'd take photographs. We'd go to a shop, or we'd use an envelope that came with the Sunday supplements and your newspaper, send it away. And if you were lucky, you could pay extra. You could pay £1 extra to have your photographs done in 24 hours. Latterly, that became you could get it done in an hour. But that was not the case when I first started work. So you would have photographs, and you'd try and make sure that you got a lovely general panoramic view of the site or the thing that you were talking about. If there was a specific problem, like there was some runoff running into a stream, you'd try and get a good photograph of that so that you could describe it. Then there's the photograph. Photograph is shown in Appendix 1, Plate 1. Boom. You go to the back. There it is. You can see what's happening. Yes, there's the text, but you can see, and we love to be able to see what is going on. So if you didn't know that, and your bid for this project was 50 pages of text, you might not stand as good a chance as the next person, the next company that bid. And they had 15 pages of text, 6 figures, 5 diagrams, and 9 photographs. And a general arrangement drawing showing where all the photographs were taken from and what they all meant and how they were related to each other. That bid is going to be more looked at, is going to be of more interest, of greater interest to the autistic project manager, the autistic director, because they've got text and they've got imagery. They can see what you're talking about, and they will probably flick through the photographs before they read all the text. So if you're putting a presentation together or a bid for work, whether you're an architect or whether you're an electrical engineer, a mechanical engineer, a geologist, a civil engineer, whatever, an accountant. Accountant's fabulous, fabulous profession for people who are autistic and have Asperger syndrome, because you can use spreadsheets. You can, bam, there's a spreadsheet. Bam, there's a graph. You can see the increase in profits with revenue or not if it's going down the way, and you can immediately see it. You can see it on the spreadsheet, and there'll be highlighted columns that will have different colors. Oh, yes, please. Different colors on spreadsheet. Yes, please. Absolutely. Don't overdo it. Don't make them too bright. But have the different colors, the mid-level of the range of colors that you can have. Pastel colors, mid-range, perfect. Don't have too many. Don't have 12, but 3, 6, 7, ideal, so that we can see at a glance. Oh, there's a red one there. What does that red one mean? Look at the key. Yeah, that's that. That's the key point. And we can get a much greater feel very quickly for the information that's presented. Now, if you didn't know that, and you put in your bid of 50 pages of text, whether that company that had the photographs, the pictures, the graphs, the spreadsheets had a better financial bid than yours might not be the killer, might not be the critical thing. Their bid might be, I don't know, 3%, 5%, 7% more than yours. That project manager, that director with Asperger's syndrome or with autism says, I can relate to that because I can see they're showing me what they want, how they're going to present it. I can visualize that and I can see it. Don't want to read 50 pages. Give me a picture. Give me an image. Yes, please. So if you didn't know, you might lose. You might have a bit better financial, it might be a keener price. But the other one is more compelling. It's more attractive. It's more engaging. That's the word. That's the word. That is the word. You have to find ways to engage with your autistic employees, your autistic clients, your clients who have Asperger's syndrome. And if you can nail that, you're going to have a wonderful relationship with that project manager, that client, because you can relate to them, they can relate to you, and you have got the basis for a great rapport. And once you have won a bid, that is the key. That is the key. And trust me, having worked as a geologist in the construction industry for 23 years, I can tell you, having a great rapport with your client is the number one thing. Even more important than have you got the technical expertise? Think about that. Developing a great rapport with your client is more important than the technical expertise, because the company down the road probably have the similar technical expertise than you have. The company next door to you might have similar technical expertise than you have, but you have the rapport with the client because you understand what they want and you're going to deliver what they want so that they can see the information accessible to them. That's the key. So think about that when you're, oh, it's World Autism Day yesterday. What did I do? What did I do in my business? What did I do with the people that I met? And what am I going to do with the people I meet this month because it's World Autism Month, Autism Awareness Month? See, I think we need to go a lot more beyond autism awareness. Awareness is saying, yeah, okay, we know that there are these people amongst us. They walk amongst you, you know. We need to go beyond awareness, even beyond acceptance. We need to be autism engaged. That's where we need to be, where the autistic person is understood and valued and is given the opportunity to express themselves in whatever they do. That whether that's the lowest person on the rung in your business to the director, doesn't matter what level they're at, everyone's view is important. And I will guarantee you, in whatever business you work in, that there will be someone in your chain of command and all the way down to the general workers and the support staff and all of those people. There will be someone in that system, in those teams that you have, who knows an awful lot more about it than you do, about a specific thing. They will know. The problem is, they probably are never given the opportunity to say, oh, that's above your pay grade. You don't do it. Just do this thing that I've asked you to do. And then when you've done that, I'll give you another thing that I want you to do. You may have people at the shop face, the coal face, in the business end, doing all those little tasks, doing them well, doing them right, so that the person they're giving them to kind of almost takes them for granted. And they know that they're going to get it and it's going to be right, so they can pass it on to their boss. That makes them look good, not necessarily the person who's done the work. So we have to understand and recognize the skills and the abilities of everyone in your team. There's a challenge for you. What would happen in your business if you're a business where you have an office, a premises? What would happen in your business if all of your cleaners resigned and there were no cleaners in your business for a month? I know what would happen. I know what would happen. Your toilets would start to smell the first morning after that happened. The toilets might not have toilet rolls in them, or soap filled in the soap dispensers, or paper towels if you have paper towels. Your waste paper bins might have been emptied. And that might be okay if it's things, but did you know that your cleaners might be taking the paper out your waste paper bin and putting it in the recycle bin? And you might not know that because you're just lazy and you chuck your paper in the bin because it's right there, it's right next to you, it's right under your desk. Chuck it there. Your cleaners might be taking that paper out, put it in the recycle bin, or your plastic bottle of pop, putting it in the recycle bin, or your can of juice, your fizzy pop, and putting it in the recycle bin. You may have that horrible sandwich that you got from XYZ place down the road. You threw half of it away last night. Bit smelly around your desk the following morning, isn't it? Because no one's emptied your bin. After 3 or 4 days of that, when your waste paper bins are overflowing, there's no toilet rolls anywhere. What are you going to do? Your business will grind to a halt for the simple fact that your cleaners are no longer there. So everyone in your business, from the cleaner to the person ordering the stationery and the paper and the pens and the envelopes and all of those things, is a vital cog in your business. And it's quite possible that somewhere in that chain, from that person who buys all your stationery, the people that are cleaning your office and hoovering it at 7 o'clock at night when you've all gone home, has Asperger's or autism. How do you treat them? Do you, when your cleaner comes in, if you're working late and your cleaner comes in, You sort of, oh, cleaners come in, I'll just go out my office, get a cup of tea, and hope they're gone quickly because I've got this report to finish. Or do you say, hi, how are you? How are you doing today? And have a conversation with them. Which one do you do? Now, I can appreciate that not every day it's always appropriate to have that conversation. But do you engage with those people who come around and clean your office? Do you engage with the secretaries? Because, oh, we've got a big thing coming up. We're going to need another 200 A4 envelopes to get this mail drop we're doing. Have you got 200 A4 envelopes? Have you got stamps? What happens at 4 o'clock on that Friday when you find out you don't have 200 A4 envelopes and stamps? And yes, I know we've all got emails and everything, but sometimes, as I said earlier, visual. Have that brochure, have that colour brochure, sending it out to all your customers. What are you going to do 4 o'clock on the Friday when you haven't got 200 envelopes or anyone to sign them, to fill them in and put the labels on? Yeah, your mail drop that you were planning for the last 3 weeks has just gone down the Swanee. Be aware of your teams. Be aware that any one point on that chain, from the cleaner to your secretaries to your junior staff to your admin staff, any one point on there can be the fatal break that leads you to fail. And at any point on that chain, you may have someone who is autistic and has Asperger's and has far greater skills than you're giving them credit for. That's where we need to go. Oh, do you know what? I've been watching what you've been doing for the last 3 or 6 months. I've been really impressed. What else can you do? Have that conversation with them over a cup of tea at tea break time. If we give you more responsibility, would you be able to do that? Would you be able to handle that? And that's when they'll say, oh, yes, I can do this, this, and this. And actually, I did that for the other one, but the person that I gave it to didn't want that. But I kept it anyway in the file. Can I have a look at that? Wow, this is good. You did that. Did that take you long? No, not really. I just knew how to do it. Looks good, doesn't it? It's nice and visual. Shows you what's going on. Yeah, good. I'll have a word with who you're working for, and we'll see if we can give you more responsibility and challenge you more. He retired geologist now, but I worked in a company where I was for 6 years, and we had people at various levels. We had principal engineers, senior engineers, engineers and geologists, graduates. We had support staff. We had technicians, senior technicians, junior technicians, and so on. One of our best employees was a very quiet lad. He was a trainee technician. By God, he was good. He was very quiet until he was started to give more responsibility. Then he came out of his shell. Brilliant. Fantastic. Great manager. He's a naturally gifted leader. But because his job title had him down as a T2 technician, second level, most people just, oh, can you go and do that for us? Can you get it done for us by 4 o'clock? Yeah, okay. He wasn't seen as an asset. No, I have no idea whether he had Asperger's or not. But what I'm saying is, just because someone might be at a low level does not mean to say they are low skilled and have low ability. It may be that someone has joined your organization to get a step on the ladder. When I did my master's, we had a chap who was probably in his 40s doing a master's in rock mechanics and rock engineering. And he had come back from South Africa. This was in 1986. So South Africa was a challenging place then, and it's still a challenging place now, but for different reasons. And he had a young family, and him and his wife decided that they didn't like the way things were and the impact it was having on their daughter. So he left very prestigious job to come back, do a master's, and start again. He was prepared to do that and accept a job that was way below his abilities just so that he could get a foot in the door with the company and then hopefully get progression quicker up the ladder as they realized the skill and the talent that he had. He brought his family back from South Africa to give them a better chance. So when people, we've got a 40-year-old guy looking for a graduate position, pay attention, pay attention. You might just have a gem sitting there, knowing that he's better than the position. He's got more qualifications, more experience. He's probably more qualified, more experienced than the guy that was interviewing him or his boss. But he was prepared to take that low-level position to get his foot in the door, and then his experience and abilities will shine through, and he will go up the ranks. You may or may not have had Asperger's. That's not the point. The point is that everyone, all of us, you and me, have skills. We have abilities. We have ways of looking at things. I'm Asperger's. I'm an Aspie. I don't call myself that very often, but yeah, I say I have Asperger's syndrome. But there are things that I can do, that I can inherently do because I have Asperger's, and it's it's only it's strange. It's only after getting my diagnosis and then speaking to people about what they can do and what they can't do and what they struggle with. And people say, "Oh, I really struggle with that. Really? Oh, I can do that in my sleep. That's great. Are you really? Can you?" And we would sit down and we talk about it. And it was then that I realized that there were things that I can do that some people, some other people can't do. And I didn't know. I thought everyone was like me. Then I realized, got my diagnosis, and there are certain things that I can do that I'm quite good at. There are certain things that I can do that I'm not very good at all. And someone else is better at it. But that's fine. We're not all meant to be brilliant at everything. No one can be brilliant at everything because we all have to fit together and weave together and become a united entity, community. Even if at work, you need to build communities at work so that everyone understands what each other can do. Everyone knows what the guy that's sitting or the lady sitting next to what their strong points is. And I just need to call on you for something. Can you just spare 10 minutes? Yeah, no problem at all. And they'll do it for you so that you build teams together that support each other. If you can do that, you will succeed. If you're a dictatorial, micromanaging person, you will not succeed because ultimately you will not have the trust and the respect from your staff. If you're the micromanager with a clipboard going, "Oh, Docky, I'm writing you up because you were a minute late today." Oh, please. We're not in the 1960s anymore. We're in the third decade of the 21st century. Get a grip of yourself. Really. Honestly, that makes me really mad. People who write you up because you were a minute late. Who cares? You have to be able to meet the modern challenges of the world that we're in. Oh, excuse me. And embrace everyone. Embrace everyone in your team, whether that person is a different race, different culture, different belief system, different gender or gender identity. It doesn't matter. You have to build trust and rapport with your teams to get the best from everyone. Yes, it matters to the individual that they're different in some way, but we're all different in some way. If you break everyone down on the planet, you get 7 billion different people. You break them down by hair color and have they got tattoos and piercings, and do they have beards or moustaches? Do they have long hair or short hair? Do they have dyed hair? Do they have big feet, small feet, hand size? You break everyone down into different categories all the way across the globe. You end up with 7 billion individuals. That's what we are. As a species, we are 7 and a bit billion people. You're bound to meet someone who's different from you. Challenge is to find the way to help them, to help you, so that together you are better than the sum of your individual parts. I worked for a company where we struggled with that. We struggled with people as individuals, as skilled as they were, because the boss was a tyrant, absolute tyrant. There was no talking to him. Just, there was no rationalization, having a rational conversation with him. He wanted it done that way, whether that was right or wrong, and no one was going to change his mind. In the end, I left. I couldn't work in that environment, particularly when he was wrong. And like all of us, he was wrong from time to time. You know, I'll put my hand up when I'm wrong. Excuse me, sorry, I think I've made a mistake here. I haven't got this right. How can we how can we correct this and move on? I will put my hand up when I'm wrong. Never had a problem with that. We're in the third decade of the 21st century. Come on, people. Let's grab the bull by the horns and understand and value the people around us, whatever their situation is. Does it matter to you that the person next to you is gay? No. Are they good at their job? Yes. Great. Get on with them, do your job, be better at it together. Does it matter that they're gay? No. Does it matter that the person next to you is sitting wearing a turban? No. Are they good at their job? Yes. Find ways to get on with them, support them so that they can help you and you can help them. It doesn't matter. That's going back to the Autism Awareness Month. We have to be able to do better. We have to be able to understand that our autistic people amongst us that are around us just need the opportunity to shine, to be understood, accepted, and see what they can do. And you will be amazed. You will be amazed at what they can do. Many of us don't get the opportunity because someone else is pulling the strings. They're using the abilities and skills of the autistic people to make themselves look good. That's wrong. That's wrong. And let's not forget that certain significant people throughout history are believed to have been autistic or have Asperger syndrome. Now, we can't say for certain that Leonardo da Vinci had Asperger syndrome, but pretty sure he did because of the way that he thought. Genius. Man was a genius. Einstein was probably on the spectrum. Alan Turing was probably on the spectrum. Isaac Newton probably on the spectrum. Mozart, Beethoven probably on the spectrum. We don't know. We can't be sure. We didn't know what it was back then, and we didn't have people who understood it to be able to diagnose it. So, but there are people amongst us who are so good at what they do that we have to embrace them, support them, find out what makes them tick, and help them. Give them the tools and the support. I read an article it was before COVID. I can't believe it was before COVID now. And I'm gonna close with this because I'm conscious of time. This is really important. There was an article written by the Harvard Business Review. So we're not talking, you know, some bloke in the shed who's come up with some ideas, which isn't necessarily wrong either. We're talking Harvard's Business Review commissioned a report, commissioned a study, and their report concluded. Here we go. Properly supported and in the right environment, your autistic employees can be up to 140% more efficient than their neurotypical colleagues. Now, I bet you've just heard that and gone, oh, 140%? Wow, that's amazing. What a rewind the tape a little bit. Go back to the two facts at the beginning, two statements at the beginning. I'm going to say them again. Properly supported and in the right environment. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Anyone who is an employer or has any authority of anyone else who works with you, I'm going to challenge you to make sure that you do just that. Properly supported and in the right environment. Think about that. You have people in your business and you don't properly support them. You haven't got them in the right environment. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? How can you expect them to succeed and do well if you're not supporting them and putting them in the right environment? You are asking for failure. You are As Geoffrey Howe said, tampering with the wicket. For those of you who are old enough, you'll know what that means. It's yeah, it's a reference to Geoffrey Howe, who was a cabinet politician in the 1970s and 1980s, and he got badly treated by the Prime Minister. And when he did his resignation speech in the House of Commons, he used the phrase, "It's like someone tampering with your bat before you go in to play cricket." Yeah, it went down a storm, but that's another day. But if you're not properly supporting your individuals in and your teams in the right environment, you are sabotaging your business. You really are. Yes, the other part, I'm up to 140% more efficient. That's great. That's fantastic. That's a metric that someone's come up with. The important part of that statement, of the conclusion of that report from the Harvard Business Review, is properly supported in the right environment. If you are not doing that for all of your employees, you need to start doing it today. Tomorrow. Not next week. Not, well, bring it up at the next board meeting and see what the C-suite have to say about it and look all smug about it. No. You've got to start today. That's my challenge to you. Properly support everyone in your teams and make sure they're in the right environment, and your business will flourish. If those people in your teams have Asperger's, or whether they're different in some other way, great, embrace them. Because it might well be that the person that you employ who comes from Bolivia or Hungary or Singapore might have been dealing with the problem that you've had for the last 5 years, and they fixed it 3 years ago in their last business. You'd want them to work for you, wouldn't you? When you've got a recurring problem that you can't fix, there's a person from another country who says, "Yeah, we fixed that 3 years ago. We did this, we did that." That's what you would do, wouldn't it? You'd employ that person. You'd find out how they fixed it. You'd see what else they knew. You integrate them into your team. You support them. Your team grows better, becomes better, more efficient, more effective, better products, better services. Your business grows. You support your customers. You provide better services to your clients. Your business grows. That's what we should be aiming at. Yes, I'm talking about Autism Awareness Month, but it's everything. It's everything. Remember, as I keep saying on my Talking Asperger's with Andrew webinars, remember, we are in the third decade of the 21st century. We're not sitting here in the 1960s. We're not sitting here in the 1980s. And just in case you'd forgotten, the 1980s started 43 or 44 years ago. 43 or 44 years ago. Are you still doing the same things that you were doing beginning of the 1980s? And you're expecting better results? Yeah. Come on, people. We can do better. We can do better. Embrace the uniqueness of all the people that you have in your teams, support them in the right environment, and you're onto a winner. Be open to people who come from different backgrounds, come with different ideas, speak different languages. Help them, support them in your team and your space, and your business will grow. That is all I have time for today's episode of Talking Asperger's with Andrew. And yes, I get excited about things. And yes, I can get, but come on, we have to do better. We have to do better. And because it's Autism Awareness Month, I'm talking about that, but it applies to everything else as well. Remember, properly supported in the right environment. That's your challenge. Do that for all of your employees, and your business will have to succeed. Take care till next month. Keep a lookout on LinkedIn for what next month's topic will be. That'll be done in the week before. And I look forward to seeing you then. If you've got any comments or you have any topics that you want me to cover in a future episode of Talking Asperger's with Andrews, please drop me a line, andrew@aspergersmatters.com, and I promise I will get the background fixed. I'm aware that it didn't have all the information on. I'll get that sorted for next month. So take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.